Hello, my name is Brandy Whittington, and this is my final presentation for LIS 6120. I'll be looking at Are Reference Desks Relevant, focusing on meeting the needs of the students. The library I did my observation at is a small private liberal arts college located in a small town in Michigan. For my observation, I spent 4 separate days with 4 different librarians in order to get a wide view of how they feel about reference desks and the role that they play. The reference librarians at this library are all tenured professors and both teach a variety of classes and work at the library in a couple of different capacities. The main thing that I noticed during my observations and through discussions with the librarians is that while there is a high number of students using their library, they are using it as a study space and not necessarily for the books or other resources like the reference desk. In a study done by Drexel University, they talk about the future of reference in a virtual world and discuss the many other avenues that students are using in order to get their reference questions answered. This last semester, Library X has seen a sudden decline in students asking questions at the reference desk. The consensus of the librarians is that more students are using online resources or locating the needed items on their own. What is confusing the librarians the most, though, is that during the first semester the number of inquiries was at a normal rate, and it was just this last semester that it took a steep decline. A part of the problem with the decline in student participation could do with marketing. 2 main reasons that marketing is now important in the academic world are: academic librarians can no longer sit in their ivory towers waiting for the customers, the students, the faculty, and the staff to use their libraries. We no longer have that captive audience. And the competition is greater because we are no longer the only information service game in the town. Decline, the library has started brainstorming on how to best help the students in their research needs using other resources. The main discussion around the reference desk at Library X is how to meet the needs of the students without potentially wasting time sitting at a desk with no students asking questions. One way they thought of that could assist with this is to create a more online presence so that they are available to answer student questions without having to conduct physical reference hours. According to our textbooks, reference services has traditionally been available in a reference room or an otherwise designated area in the library at a desk staffed by librarians. Now, network databases and e-resources, not to mention Google, Bing, and other free search services such as Wikipedia, have reduced dependence on the reference room as the place where library research begins. To accomplish this online presence, they would utilize the Ask a Librarian link as well as create an online reference service. By utilizing these services, the reference librarians hope to still be useful to the students with their research needs. With the Ask a Librarian link, students are able to ask a question to the reference librarians, and then within a reasonable time, a librarian will reply to their inquiry. They would like to expand this option to include a chat with a librarian feature that would allow a more instant reply to the students' questions. On the other hand, with going to a more online reference presence, it forces the reference librarians to multitask in order to continually be monitoring the various avenues of students' questions. Another option that the library has considered is merging their circulation desk with the reference desk. This would allow reference librarians to potentially help more students with their questions by hearing the questions that they typically ask the student workers instead of going to the reference desk. Also, with this option, they would consider training the circulation staff workers how to answer simple reference questions. This would allow students' needs to be met without a librarian having to be at the desk, and can instead use their time to answer student questions in their offices or through online inquiries. To go along with the idea of merging the circulation and the reference desk, the college is currently fundraising to build a learning commons that is likely to be connected to the library. This area could provide a new location for reference librarians to sit in order to help students while they are studying. Coinciding with this change, they have discussed a couple of other layout changes to make their reference desk more accessible and student-friendly. Finally, to help the students with their reference needs, the librarians meet with specific classes to give them information that is geared towards the specific assignment that they are working on. This goes along with the first year seminars that they do to introduce students to the resources that are offered at the library. Both of these options give students the information they need without having to ask a reference librarian what could potentially be a simple question. This also helps them learn ways to start their research and get the most out of the library. As noted in the research done by Drexel University, today it is more important than in the past to teach people how to evaluate the information and then to ask them how they would use it. By using the class time with the students to teach them where to look for valuable resources, the librarians are minimizing the amount of time students will have to spend looking for reliable sources or asking reference librarians if their information is accurate. Students may no longer be utilizing the physical reference desk. A reference presence is still necessary in the academic world. While more libraries are still having success with a physical reference desk, more and more are taking to the internet to help meet the needs of the library users. With the surge in internet resources, reference services are becoming less linear and becoming more of a collaborative reference with the user. To my presentation.